That turned out well. Let's keep going. Entrant 21 is Robplayswithdragons. I should probably also add a division to end of video 1, so that I know when I stop. Question 21 comes from Robplayswithdragons, who asks, says, "Hi Grimith, wanted to say thanks for answering my question last year. 1. Now that you have started the 21X play game list, have you had any second thoughts? 2. Was there any games that people asked you to play that you either had no idea what it was, or had played it, forgotten about it, and were pleasantly surprised to have the opportunity to play it again? P.S. Last year, your answer about strangling a turiun's neck suits your playstyle very well. Nope, no regrets. Just recognition that I might need multiple years to finish the list. As long as with reminding people and pointing out the fact that it will take me multiple years to finish the list. Without a massive flurry of activity on my part. I don't want to have that much free time either, because if I have that much free time, that means bad things have happened in my life. If I actually finish the entire list in the year 2014, you folks should be very concerned. Very. There were numerous games on the list that I never heard of and had to check to see whether I could actually play them. I think, as of now, that I can, but I will be doing more specific tests for each game as I get to it on the list, and if I can't do it, I'll write the person and say, you're going to need to pick a substitute for me. I wouldn't say I was pleasantly surprised by any game, though. Entrant 22 comes from Buddy is a Fat Cat 1, who asks, do you plan on doing Let's Plays with other Voltron Army high-ups in the future? Do we have a chance of seeing a Fallout 3 or New Vegas Let's Play in the future? Well, who else do you consider a Voltron Army high-up? This isn't a sarcastic question. I don't know the answer here. Like, I made Lethal Feline a moderator last year to help deal with spam, and then I fucking... You down? Seriously, it's not sarcastic. I don't know the answer. About Fallout 3 or New Vegas, my attitude towards them is very apathetic. Offhand is putting a modifier on apathetic like putting a modifier on unique. Like, you know, like, oh, I'm very apathetic. I'm partially apathetic. That is sort of apathetic. Apathy. I guess it actually is better than putting a modifier on unique. It just seemed weird to me. Never played either. Don't care much about going through either. They could be super amazing, awesome Jesus Wizard Sauce, and I just can't find it within me to give a damn. I watched Lethal Feline play New Vegas because he skipped over a considerable amount of the content and played like a silly man. I'm very wearisome of role-playing games right now, so much so that I have been criticizing Thief for being a role-playing game, even though that's a tertiary genre behind action and adventure. This game is probably more of a role-playing game in the style of, say, Diablo, where you collect a bunch of stuff and level up a character. But, of course, I'm not tired of Dungeon Defenders, because I love Dungeon Defenders, and Dungeon Defenders loves me back. Besides, haven't there been enough playthroughs of these games? I have absolutely nothing to contribute which would be in any way meritorious. But Grimith, it's you! It's your voice, and the way you talk, and your unique gaming experiences which collide together. You know, there are... I certainly do have folks who watch my videos primarily, not so much for the game, but for me. I'm not actually someone who does that. I am willing to give games a chance, depending on the person who's recording them, but, you know, this tends to be why I've never watched everything that all my subscriptions have uploaded. I just don't fucking care about the games sometimes. And, oh my god, I'm so glad that, I'm no longer seeing any more playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 2 crop up, except for, Varianx has a solo one that he's doing through Baldur's Gate 2. I'm okay with that. You know, but there was quite some time where I remember, and Jeff would talk about this too. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ! So many fucking BioWare games and our subscription boxes. What the fuck? Yeah. So no, I don't think that's going to be something I play. And Fallout games are probably among the few that I'd outright have refused to play if they were requested. Be like, no, you need to come up with a substitute, and I'm not giving you the money back. You accepted this risk. You made a donation. You took this into account, I hope. If you didn't, you made a bad purchasing decision. Because it wasn't even a purchase, you donated. Entrant 23 is MarkyVals, who asks, any up-and-coming games you're looking forward to, and best TRPG tabletop role-playing game system you've ever played. No upcoming games I'm looking forward to. I seldom keep track of new releases. I own hundreds of games, some of which I haven't even played. As for the best tabletop role-playing game system I've ever played, I'm not sure whether I can answer that one because I don't know the answer. I'm mercurial. I've known that for years, and I've been saying that on my videos for years, including during these Q&A moments. You're going to hear me being mercurial a lot. So, get used to it. I think there's another tower that I thought about putting there. And it just slipped my mind. I could probably put one of the archers up there. I can't be asked. That'd take effort. I guess I can settle with Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition, because it's the first tabletop game I ever played, and what could go wrong with THACO and armor class that scales from 10 to -10. 10 being the worst, -10 being the best. Entrant 24 comes from Mishkhan, who says, first, what is your job in life? You don't strike me as a customer support person. More of a person that tells people they are fired in humorous ways, not for the person getting fired, but for the others around. Second is, what's your fave foods? Both type and dish, like Chinese and General Taos chicken. Lastly, for the love of God, please don't block me again! For folks who are unaware, I may have been blocked in the past. I had like a forgivens situation for my 3rd year anniversary, in which I unblocked everyone. You know, sometimes people make mistakes. I'm not excluded. And I felt like being lenient, and for any of those folks who are still watching me and hadn't made separate accounts, I figured, what the fuck? I'll give them a easy chance of viewing here. Because when you block someone on YouTube, you actually strip their subscription from you. Which can make it hard for them to keep up with your videos if they particularly watch your videos. So it really is a serious form of punishment. Otherwise, you'd like keep an extra bookmark in the internet, you have to type in a name in a search engine, stuff like that. Anyway, I work at a county museum. I've got a long history with it. I volunteered there back in high school. And as for my favorite foods, goodness. My favorite food is the potato, particularly in a fried form a la French fries, hash browns, or tater tots, but I'll bake and dice them too. I love chicken, grilled, baked, and of course fried, and I'm also a big fan of some heart-killing pork meats like pepperoni and salami. Dishes-wise, I can devour chili, and I like my mom's potato soup. I really like spaghetti, goulash, and handmade pizzas, but I haven't, made a pizza in years. I like tomato sauce. Despite being a gourmand, I see myself as a picky eater. I stick to staples I know I enjoy because, well, I've been eating for a long time, and I have a handle on what I like. And I don't like to waste my time, as I think I've made clear. Oh, can't forget the pot roast, with the diced vegetables and potatoes baking for hours, and the crock pot slathered with gravy and meat juices. I usually don't eat gravy, but pot roast is a delightful exception. Until the meat almost feels like it melts in your fucking mouth. It's that goddamn savory. I actually typed up, you know, an outline for this question, like foods I'd like, you know, enough to actually mention. I gave myself a little bit of time to answer the question. I thought of pot roast, and then I was like, put that on the grocery list. So now, because my mom has been pretty busy doing various things over the past few weeks along with my dad, we're trying to find a good time. We didn't want to do that Thanksgiving where we can actually, you know, enjoy, you know, get together a meal of pot roast, because you don't just want that to, you know, someone be busy, someone have to go out of town for several hours. You don't want that situation to occur. Not when pot roast is on the line. That's serious fucking business. But yeah, if I can't answer any more questions because, you know, being a gourmand, I actually haven't had anything to eat this morning. No breakfast, just didn't feel like it. I need to stop the Q&A video to cook everything in my house, and I would rather not. We still do have some chili in the house. It was made on Thursday. I usually don't like to eat food in the fridge if it's been sitting there that long, but chili will be alright. Entrant 25 comes from KOTOR Studios, who asks, what political party orientation do you belong to? What do you think of Ron Paul? I believe the political orientation part has already been covered. As for Ron Paul, I don't know enough about him to form an educated opinion. After all, I was less than a year old for his 1988 Libertarian bid, and I don't pay much attention to political primaries. That's like tracking game previews months, you know, at least a half year before the game's release. They can be informative, but too often are they a bleak hogwash. What I think I know about the man is, he's shaky. He's heavy on states' rights, and sharply minimizing the federal government. But, he wants, I think he wants, like, extreme, restrictions on, like, economic stuff. I think he's, you know, far left socially, but far right, economically. And both of those, matter. Should be taken into consideration to determine someone's political stance and attitude on shit. At least in my opinion. Also, you're doing a good job there, Deadly Striker Tower. Nearly 400,000 damage with that boost. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I think his attitude reflects the Democratic Republican Party of old. I guess maybe not so much, maybe not so much the economic stance. Although, no, that probably would be them, since the Federalists were more free market wheeling and dealing types, and I think the Jeffersonian Republicans wanted to restrict government stuff for? Fuck it, I actually don't. The modern Republican Party is just as guilty of advocating a bloated federal government, though, as the Democratic Party. I'm not nuanced in Dr. No's stance on various issues, but I'd be alright with a strong federal government having a loose interpretation of the Constitution, so long as it remained morally and fiscally responsible. That's not always the case. Entrant 26 comes from Mr. Johnny9809, who writes, firstly, what were some of your favorite games as a child? And secondly, why is it that very occasionally during laughing fits that you will stop recording? I like board games. Monopoly, Trouble, Sorry, Lupin Louie. I played made-up games with action figures and stuffed animals. Electronics-wise, let's limit the list to games I played when I was younger than 10. I fell in love with Maxis games, thanks to a video game rental place. SimCity for the SNES. Rented it for the first time when I was... 6? Might have been 5. I was in first grade, so 6. I'd say 6. I loved that game. Loved it so much, I got Spanky. That is a pet that you will unlock when you get to Wave 15 of these normal maps here, either in survival or pure strategy. And while the loot drops and the experience gains are pretty abysmal on pure strategy, the pet there actually isn't affected by that. So you actually can go through pure strategy, which is definitely easier in most circumstances due to the reduced amount of bullshit that'll come your way. because you aren't able to deal with it with your star player. And so you can go through and get pets that way. That's how I've gotten the Griffin, which is my primary DPS pet. This pet that I'm actually using here is my power pet. This thing is actually something that I bought in like the actual in-game like tavern keeper, which absolutely amazed me. He's a transcendental pet. He can do some wonderful things, make me happy. And that was actually after Avak and I played a bit. I saw this guy in the shop for 400 million mana, and I was like, yes? So yeah, I loved SimCity for the Super Nintendo so much, I took construction paper from school. I put it in my backpack, I'd get home, and I'd start drawing cities when I didn't actually have the game to play. I still have cards somewhere in my attic from a SimCity trading card game. The SimCity cartridge was the first game I ever bought with money I had saved from a Walmart in Salina, Ohio, while on vacation. $34.95. There's several pictures in the photo books during that vacation trip of me holding the manual, like fucking so excited with joy about the fact that I had this game, and I couldn't wait to get back home so I could play it. Let's see. You've got Cement, also a Maxis game, although that terrified the fuck out of me when I was a kid. I remember the instance of I climbed out of the nest. We were on the new game map, just climbing out after having established initial base. And I climbed out right in front of a big spider, much bigger than that, brown, that reddish brown. And I thought it was real, and that it had somehow crawled on the screen while I was getting a sip of something to drink, turned away, getting distracted like little kids do, and I ran straight screaming to my parents' bedroom. I was fucking terrified. But that was a game that actually made me want to be an entomologist for a bit. And I checked out books from the elementary school library on ants and bees and wasps and other forms of insects because I found them so interesting. I really like Genghis Khan 2, Clan of the Grey Wolf. That game was a major inspiration into me looking for books about Genghis Khan in my library. And I consider it an important stepping stone into my love of history. Talked about that last year, how my favorite historical figure tended to be Genghis Khan due to my bias. For, Genghis Khan 2, Clan of the Grey Wolf. Although, it wasn't exactly known for a lot of awesome things. Bonkers tend to not be known for a lot of awesome things. They all tend to be kind of dicks in some fashion on account of, being conquerors and all. Age of Empires helped along of my love of history, too, as I sought out information about ancient Egypt and Greece, the Sumerians, and Persians. Pirate's Gold for the Sega Genesis opened my mind to a romanticized view of buccaneering on the high seas during the golden age of piracy. Sir Francis Drake, Black Bart, Henry Morgan, Calico Jack, you get the My goodness, there are so many games I can't possibly name them all. Good thing you only asked for the vague amount known as some, so we'll stop there before I name several dozen more names. And I never noticed a pattern of me stopping a recording during laughing fits. Not to say it hasn't happened. I know that I have done that before, but I didn't think that was a thing. Let's hypothetically conclude that your analysis is true and go from there. I am capable of amusing myself, and I am prone to go off on tangents, the more absurd the better. But I'm not recording a Let's Tangent, I'm attempting to get on with it. The conclusion is self-explanatory. No? Question 27 is from Lifehole. He asks, are you employed? Yep. Entrant 28 is from Napulse2, who says, by the divine, you showed your face! Which has happened before. Do you have any artistic talent? And what is your opinion on the video games or art discussion? My opinion is that it is one of the ultimate art mediums. I am now frowning at my my notepad here because to answer this, I put in my notes, you can make up this answer on the fly. So I've left myself dangling here. Alright. Do I have any artistic talent? Probably not. I don't see myself as much of an artiste. Perhaps the closest thing I have to it, other than impersonating, nothing. I don't actually impersonate things. I just make random sounds with my mouth. Because that's something that entertained me as a kid. Making random sounds with my mouth. And then people be like, oh my god, you sound like this person. And I'm like, I'm not trying to impersonate a particular person or a situation here. I'm just fucking talking. And there we go. But perhaps the closest thing I have is the writing that I do for pleasure. Very much enjoy, you know, just writing simple stories, challenging myself in various ways and fashions. Not stuff that I want to share with other people, but I get a big kick out of it. What is your opinion on the video games or art discussion? My opinion is that it is one of the ultimate art media. I guess video games can be art. I don't inherently look at them as art, and I don't think they're ultimate. I don't exactly play games for art. I play them to be entertained, and if I can be educated, or there might be a particularly profound moment that I might go, holy shit. But I really see them as a commercial product. You know, they're a form of entertainment by which businesses attempt to make money. And there are a lot of secondary parts along that, by the way, like, you know, educational and stuff like that. It's just, you know, my opinion on business is that the purpose of business is to make money, and then other concerns do fall secondary to that. That's something that came up in, like, a prior Q&A. What do we call that, like? So yeah, there you go. Entrant 29 comes from American Dream 112, who writes, as a necromancer, which famous individual would you rather resurrect and kill first if need be into your legion for eternal torture? How would you carry out this wonderful deed? This message was brought to you by Korn. Blood for the Blood God. What do you think I am, stupid? Korn doesn't tolerate having any worshippers with magic ability. I don't want to have my face eaten off by his hounds. Clearly, I am incapable of magic deeds. But I do have a nice blood rage. True facts. Silly fool. Trying to trick me. Okay. Entrant 30 comes from V. Kuru. That's a V-K-U-R-U. Who writes, I have wondered this for some time and have been waiting for the new baconing to ask this, so here goes. 1. What do you think the LP community as a whole is becoming? And the other question is this. 2. Some people may think that certain styles of LPs are somewhat terrible. What type of LPs do you personally consider terrible or revolting? Thank you for your time and have a happy turkey month or whatever it's called. I certainly wouldn't define the entire Let's Play hobby as a community. It's a subculture. There are community constructs which have formed to celebrate this subculture. But I certainly don't feel like I'm in a community or can relate with everyone who participates in it. Something Awful's LP forum isn't the same as the Voltron army, which isn't the same as insert username's comment feed here. Or, you know, Squee has like a forum that he's fucking made. And there are other people who have made forums too. And by the way, I don't consider YouTube to be capable of sustaining a community. It can foster one, but the service is individual-centric and not group-centric. I don't... the new comment system, I don't think changes that one goddamn bit. How do you think the VA, the Voltron Army, came about? Everyone who talks to me and extols the greatness of hanging out in my community confuses me. Not as much as 3D printers, but I go, lol, what? It's the first time I'm analyzing this. Oh yeah. It's doing great. The lightning tower is actually able to reach through to the fact it's been boosted, and we get some coverage from towers over there. I even leveled up despite the fact that you get crappy amounts of experience points here. This situation. I guess I'll level up. We'll put everything into that, and there you go. Oh yeah, I guess I'll just show you the pad while I'm here. Yeah, 232 upgrade levels, which took a lot of fucking mana. I would really have loved to see the 481 hero damage down the tower damage, but you take it as it comes. Let's see here. Focus, Grimith. Focus. Yeah, I don't consider YouTube to be capable of sustaining a community. It can foster one, but the service is individual-centric and not group-centric. Everyone who talks to me, confuses me. Not as much as 3D printers, but I go, lol, what? Like, I get the sense of community and belonging that can come from my live stream chats, but it's not like those smolder with excitement every day. But let's take a break from being an asshole here and try to answer your question. I think the entire hobby is becoming more popular, which means absolutely nothing has changed since people thought sharing their gaming experiences with others was a good idea. And technology allowed us to grow from watching siblings and friends play games in front of us as a kid. We don't just have to read experiences and BBS posts, we don't have to muse over narrative, we don't have to enjoy a handful of screenshots for particular events. Now people can actually play games on their own time, record themselves doing it, and upload it to video sharing websites, primarily YouTube. And hell, not only that, but entrepreneurs have looked at the subculture for years and thought to themselves, what a great way to make money! And the entire subculture has grown so large that even video game companies themselves have formed stances and released information on what's acceptable. I don't know where it's going from here, and I guess I don't care. To me, everything I do here is my hobby, not my profession. I play games for fun, I record myself playing games for fun, and if need be, I can find a new hobby to fill my time. I'm not so dependent on this that I absolutely need it to survive. Alright. As for what LP styles I personally consider terrible or revolting, I don't think I care enough to feel that strongly about the situation. Everything gets judged by the standard of, is this a waste of my time? Do I dislike things? Oh, you betcha. Oh yeah, you betcha. But I'm a material individual. And something I might dislike could get excused in a special circumstance. Post-commentary, for example, is normally a turn-off for me. But because of the disconnect between what the person says and what happens on the screen. The same is true for frequent video cuts, or for multiple takes. Why? I'm not looking for a scripted show, or for a gaming review, or for a professional critique. I want to watch someone play a game, and all games have welts. Poor features which seem time-consuming, yet are nevertheless the part of that game. That reflects in how I record myself playing games. I usually do first take live commentary, and fuck you if you think I spend my time cutting out gameplay you think is boring. You have a YouTube timeline. I know there's the whole buggy dash loading feature which has YouTube videos load in blocks, but doesn't work as well as marketed because Google is too busy trying to carve into the social media network to fucking allow you to use the goddamn timeline. Just disable that dash loading feature. You can do it. I've done it sometimes whenever I want to. I believe in you. Perhaps not the bacon you were hoping for, but that's what you're getting from me. Entrant 31 comes from Cobrag. Hello, Cobrag. How do you think you have evolved as a person over the span of your hobby, specifically in relation to your hobby if you prefer? I just love amateur psychoanalysis bullshit. Have you ever thought of merging this hobby with another? Say like photography, trivia, or history, any other academia for examples? Yes, this bacon is serious. I've gotten better at handling all the technical aspects of recording videos. I've also improved in my question deflecting skills, just like a good future politician should, right? Use a little humor misdirection, and no one will notice the switcheroo until it's too late! As for whether I've thought about merging this hobby with another, I already have, I guess, in the form of tabletop games. think anything else belongs. It's not like I need to fucking record myself cooking or weaving baskets or any fucking thing. Alright. Family Striker Towers have some difficulty tracking over long distances at times, but I think I'll be alright. But yeah, I merged it with tabletop games, so victory! Now, entrant 32 comes from the Ednar83. On a scale of 1 to fuck all, where 1 equals maybe a chance similar to being struck by a lightning bolt, and fuck all equals to are you fucking kidding me, what are the chances of us seeing some co-op gameplay a la Crusader Kings 2 with J2 or hanging out playing Nintendo with old Jeffy cakes? Next question. Which time period in geographical area and world history do you find first, second, and third most interesting, and why? I mean, I've already played Crusader Kings 2 with J2 a year and a half ago. And I've done numerous games with Jeff, so... yes? Do you, want more? Because if you want to see me play more Crusader Kings 2, period, let alone with anyone else... get fucked. I've already addressed the Jeff aspect in the prior question. And if you're talking about me just playing games with more people in general, I already do that. SKS did some I did some Left 4 Dead 2 recently with SKS. I've shown off at least a dozen hours of co-op Dungeon Defenders on my Twitch channel. J2 and I played Civilization 5 earlier this year, although he didn't upload all the games because he's dumb and he doesn't know how to have fun. True story, so there you go. Now, about your second question. This definitely looks like you're trying to sneak some extra bacon here. It's like one of those sneaky compound questions you find in standardized testing. Besides, under Turian. However, I do have a clear-cut WinRAR here, so you'll have to be content with that. And this is actually a pretty fucking involved answer. The place, Germany. The period, 1919 to 1945. Cool. Technically, that entire time frame is the Weimar Republic, but historians recognize that a constitution becoming irrelevant is a synonym of it being repealed. I consider myself a well-read and educated individual on both the Weimar Republic and the Third Reich. An amusing aside, though, at least in my mind, is that I'm not sure when or how that interest began. I know it happened in the year 2000. In the year 2000! Which was 6th and 7th grade for me. I know we read The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank's autobiographical account of her 2 years of hiding. I know I wrote a massive extra credit essay about Adolf Hitler as part of my 7th grade social studies class. But unlike with Genghis Khan, or Alexander, or Napoleon, or Darius, or Ramses, I can't remember the exact trigger for my interest. Maybe it's out extensively. World War II was covered in my classes. At any rate, I found myself fascinated. Captivated. How could this happen to an entire nation? To an entire country full of people more intelligent, more informed than I? So I delved into studying Hitler, Hermann Göring, Joseph Goebbels, Heinrich Himmler, Ernst Röhm, Reinhard Heydrich, the man with the iron heart, the most terrifying of Nazis, essentially a German Andrew Jackson. Only Andrew Jackson actually survived his assassination attempt by sheer fluke, because both of the guy's pistols misfired. And that second one was just only a few feet away, because old man Andrew Jackson was charging this motherfucker with his goddamn cane, ready to beat the fuck out of him for even daring to assassinate him. And the second pistol was so damn close to his heart, and it still fucking misfired. And of course I compare Reinhard Heydrich to Andrew Jackson because, Andrew Jackson is known by some to be one of the best presidents. He's also known by some to be one of the worst presidents. Particularly his, not just his stance on the National Bank and how he took matters so personally. How, much he hated Henry Clay, as well as John Quincy Adams, and he blamed them both for the death of his wife. But the extensive anti-Native American approach that he took while in office. So I actually think that comparison there between Reinhard Heydrich and Andrew Jackson is fair. Well, I don't know the how and when, I do know the why. I already mentioned one reason. I wanted to know how in the hell this could have happened. And the answer staggered my mind, as they often have when I've done deep historical analysis. What an astounding cascade of events, of numerous occurrences and happenstances, seemingly stranger than fiction, all of which had to unite together in order to get the abhorrent result that occurred. And to think that it could have been far worse. You go one direction, with, those people who are like horrified by situations, you ask, what if the United States stock market doesn't collapse? What if Chamberlain refuses to kowtow to Germany? What if Hitler had died of his battlefield injuries during World War I? Or, one of the assassination attempts had actually fucking succeeded? Shit like that. But then, what if France, actually doesn't get into this fucking hot puff tuft of a war which doesn't fucking achieve anything? What if they actually attack Germany before Germany prepares its whole blitzkrieg? What if, Britain actually does something more than, curl in fucking terror on their goddamn island and pray to God that the United States of America gets involved? And to be fair, the United States was sending them aid. FDR was sneaking over as much aid as he could, despite the unpopularity of going to war again with the American public, because we wanted to be isolationists. We didn't want to fucking get involved in the world. Until our hand was forced with Pearl Harbor. So yeah, but then you go the other direction. What if Reinhard Heydrich had been more intelligent about his personal security and survived the assassination attempt? What if Nazi Germany didn't so foolishly follow their distant ally Japan and declare war on the United States? What if thousands upon thousands of German soldiers didn't die, frozen and alone, surrounded and utterly fucked by an enraged Soviet war machine? Just a small sampling of questions, but that shit racked my brain. To try and unravel the Third Reich myself, I delved extensively into learning as much as a young historian could. I had the opportunity in high school as part of a special class to interview local veterans about their time in the war. I photocopied private picture collections, many of which I still have access to in digital form on the oldest laptop I've got, which is my first laptop, the one that I took with me in college, and those were transferred over from my computer before that. Really, I've got documents and files that I've transferred over from computer that I made back in 2001. Not exactly of this, but just of things in general. I'm a historian. I do a pretty good job of preserving my history for myself, and perhaps for posterity as well. In college, I had access to the full library of a research university. I've had the privilege of talking with people who were not only alive during World War II, but who lived in Germany, who were children in the Hitler Youth, or who were survivors of the Nazi final solution. Much of my passion for history has cooled since I left college, and I am not as well read as I used to be. But in this particular situation, this topic, I remain deeply engrossed. My Nazi studies had also served as a way to separate myself from others, to chase them away from me. I doodle swastikas over some pages of my notebooks just to frighten my peers, and eyes would widen when I could only pull out a geometry textbook by first removing 3 or 4 Nazi regime books stacked on top. Hell, I never had a teacher ask about it. The German teacher, she gave me a few slanted eyebrows, because I put swastikas on the German handbook so that I can recognize it as the book cover. But she was pretty understanding. Now, the second Spanish teacher I had, she was from El Salvador, when she returned that German textbook to me that I had accidentally left behind her class, that particular semester I had Spanish too, and then right after that I had German too. Now that was more interesting. Also, I'm used to being able to repair defenses again. Look at me. Before I move on from this topic, I think it's important to point out that history serves to be a teacher, but we cannot become so lost in one facet or account of it that we lose sight of other things. Sociological studies and common sense reveal how willing humans are to blame their troubles on anyone but themselves. We don't just have to look into the past. We can look right now and see the segregated lines that people are all too willing to form. I am guilty of wanting to stay in my comfort zone, but division breeds isolation, breeding misunderstanding, breeding fear, and hate. It's also important to keep in mind that the Nazi Party wasn't the worst thing ever. Their failures are well documented, and their atrocities exposed because they took on much of Western civilization and got fucked. Yet the utter decimation of people and disregard for life has occurred in so many other instances. One cannot help but look at the blood on the hands of the United States. How many people remember how brutally the Japanese were treated in my country during World War II? Do we teach our children about our own internment camps, of how we stripped them of their property, of their rights? What about the Native American? Entire cultures have been systematically destroyed ever since European colonists found the New World. They got into Africa. They got into Asia. Good job. We've got 50 states manifest destiny, but at what cost? The conquerors and champions, the rulers and philosophers. What horrific deeds have the people you idolize done? No, that was fun. Next question. Next entrant from Rampa87, who writes, what country, if any, would you like to visit as a tourist? What is your view when it comes to media piracy / torrent sites? A fitting lead-in. I'd like to go to Germany. My paternal heritage is primarily Germanic, almost entirely so, as a matter of fact. It's only from my maternal side that I get my Cherokee and my French and my Irish or Scottish, because my maternal grandfather and their accounts weren't exactly sure. Like, my grandpa had a different opinion than what, like, some sort of documents that were collected by another member of his family, and shit like that. So, on that, you know, I always thought Irish because of my grandpa, but there's actually a little bit of leeway. But from my my paternal side, it's Germanic. It through and through. There might be, you know, some minor aspects of heritage and shit, but those are so minor, those were never mentioned to me. And I have a second cousin once removed who actually has done a great job of collecting family history from, you know, that paternal side that we share. You know, he's gotten, like, his blood sent in for, like, yeah, tests for, like, DNA markers, stuff like that, to analyze, like, geographically, I guess geologically? I don't know. That's probably not it. Geographically, you know, where that ancestry used to be. You know, I thought this was cool myself, you know, the abilities and how much people were able to do with, like, the blood and testing, you know, certain markers in the blood trace back to a line of Jewish rabbis, the Cohens, the Cohen line, so many other things like that. But, yeah, my Germanic heritage. You know, my family name is German-Swiss. My paternal ancestor, Johannes, arrived here in South Carolina in 1865. Before that, we actually had an umlaut in our name, and we had a coat of arms. But Americanization doesn't care for either. So yeah, Germany. Regarding your second question, I concede to the law of the United States concerning such affairs. After all, I live here. Oh, actually on wave 20. Well, let's see if I'm right about fucking collapsing to death, because these guys are going to be a lot more faster. The last time I attempted this, though, I didn't have my my buff beams here. I didn't have the Series EV. So we'll see what happens. We've had so much fun together that even from the beginning, we finally made it to Wave 20. And you know, I've gotten a decent amount of experience just while talking to you guys. It's not bad. It's not great or good. It's a thing. Oh, goodness. After all, I live in the United States. There. You get my point. Personally, I believe in supporting those who are responsible for creating the products I enjoy. That way, they can continue to create those products. If I don't enjoy a particular medium, then I don't use it. I hope that satisfies your query. Entrant 34 comes from Nan5MJ, who asked, what are your financial career goals? What career did you want when you were younger? I can safely say that I don't have any career goals. I'm now firmly entrenched in my late 20s, and I'm no closer to figuring out my future than when I left college. Then again, I wasn't sure whether I'd have a future. I'm surprised I've lived this long. 26 seemed like such a lofty goal. Financially, now that I've broken my college debt over my knee, I have to string it along for another year due to contractual obligations, but it's basically done. I look to creating a nest egg that will sustain me, should I continue to live. One of the consequences of a self-destructive life is that if you actually don't die anytime soon, you have to play catch-up. As for what career I wanted back in the day, oh man, what career didn't I want? I wanted careers that would help people. Police officer, judge, fireman, mayor, pirate. You help people with a pirate, right? Superhero, entomologist. When I was 12, I settled on history teacher, and I kept that goal with me until my final year of college. Also, not doing so bad over here, despite how close those blockades are to the entranceway. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's not a whole lot of damage on those sons of bitches at all. The extra powerful towers, especially the lightning tower with insane reach, are really helping on that front. I might actually go through the entire 25 of this on pure strategy. Alright! Yay! As for what career, what did I want? And I settled on history teacher when I was 12, and I kept that goal with me until my final year of college. Entrant 35 comes from Airsofter4692, who asks, what LGWI did you enjoy making the most, and who is your favorite YouTuber who isn't a Let's Player? I can't pick a favorite, baby! But I'll always hold a special place in my heart for my Liberal Crime Squad. Now, favorite YouTuber? Well, I guess Team 4-Star technically uploads their stuff to YouTube, so yeah. I guess they've also technically done some gaming commentary things as part of this hobby too, huh? That's the best I got. I really don't do a whole lot of stuff in YouTube aside from this hobby. Entrant 36 comes from Uncle Putt. Hey there, Uncle P, who asks, is Voltron Army still active and well alive in any form anymore? I think that's about all I can think of. Yes. Entrant 37 comes from Legu? L-E-G-U-E-U. Legu. Slaughtering your names with Grimith, who asks, why are you so awesome? Have you ever considered to do LP and gaming media professionally? Maybe you all need to start a fan club, or a forum, or build off the Urban Dictionary entry someone made of me, or devote an entire section of TV tropes to reason why you think I'm awesome. Oh. You know, because that hasn't been done already or anything. I'm pretty sure Kitsune Zeta is one of those individuals who's responsible for that crap, but my memory's a little rusty. It's been a long time since I looked at either thing. I can't answer that question for you. What I can say, though, is that I have considered making this hobby, well, more than my hobby, and I don't want to. I'm not going to spam, comment, like, favorite, subscribe, recommend, reminders in every video description, much less each video. Like, sure, I get that there's a positive aspect of doing it. You're helping people network and learn more about your channel and what you do. I want to go. I can't even shoot in pure strategy. I wanted to shoot out there. Oh well. But I see too much negative associated with it. J2 John Jeremy has done that crap for as long as I've fucking talked to him. and he wonders why I keep telling him that he's a part of the douche network. SKS picked up that habit though, and I just shake my head. Remember everyone, I'm a dreamer. I picked a career path that put me in a cardboard box. Acquiring wealth is not my ambition in life. See here, we got 38, Arctic Fox, who writes, what, no beard? What would be the ideal game for you if you were designing it? I think both of these questions have been answered. But really, concerning the game part, I'm not a game designer or developer. All I have is lengthy experience from playing games for most of my life. I'm creative, but I'm no idealist, and I frankly see such dreaming as a waste of my time. I left that behind years ago. Intro 39 is from Dash1141, hello Dash, who writes, fuck the 2 weeks, Grim. I'm ready now. Okay. Which country or place in the world would you love to visit most? What would you consider to be your dream job? Cheers, dude, you're the man. As I mentioned earlier, I'd like to visit Germany. Of course, I'd need to brush up on my German. I haven't spoken much of it since I was 16, and the years of Spanish and French really fucked me up. I roll my fucking R's, and I leave H's silent. Whenever I did some co-commentary and guest commentary and just interactions with Herr Sunk, who had been a hobbyist at the time, I'd always call him Herr Sunk. I'd say dumb shit, undoubtedly, you know, I'm thinking now, like I'd go to Germany and I'd say, Gehen Sie geradeaus bis zur Bibliotheka. Fuck, I had that problem back when I was in. It was German too, as a matter of fact. We had a vocab quiz. And we needed to write 2 sentences as part of it, and I wrote, Y, you know, the E, the Spanish form of and, instead of Didn't lose a point. She, like, circled it when she gave it back to me, and, like, when she was graded them, I heard her chuckle a little bit, and I wondered why at the time. And she called me over, and she showed me that, and I looked at it, and my face got red, and she just started laughing harder. The foreign language department loved it, like I was their personal guinea pig, even though, you know, they weren't subjugating me to any of that shit. You know, it was all of my own accord that I wanted to take all those foreign languages. And I was an off-discussed topic, apparently. Because I had 5/8 of them. There were 8 foreign language teachers in total. You had 5 who taught Spanish, and I had 3 of them. You had 2 who did French, and I had 1 of them for both French 1 and French 2, and then 1 who did German. And I had her for both German and German 2. She later moved on after I actually had German 2. So, really, you could just say 1/2 of the foreign language department. But, you know, another example, you know, just stupid shit. Ah, Madame Felder, ¿cómo está usted? Look, a surprise from her, followed by me widening my eyes in horror, followed by uproarious laughter. I remember being in French 1 in the spring semester of my junior year. I wanted to fit in German 3, but with the new teacher there, and with my schedule with the AP classes I was taking, I just couldn't plug it in. And so my guidance counselor was like, well, why not take French 1? And I'm like, well, I like languages, I guess. It's probably not the best idea I had. It's going to confuse the fuck out of me, but you know what? Sure, why the fuck not? So I remember, you know, just for folks who are unaware, like you live outside the United States, and you haven't got included into this, foreign language teaching is not something that's emphasized in the United States of America as much as it is pretty much, you know, in the rest of Western civilization. You folks live so close together between various countries there in Europe, you know, whereas here you could travel 3,000 miles and still be in the United States of America. It's not emphasized that much. Before you go to college, at least the graduating standards here in South Carolina was that you needed to have a little bit of backing in a foreign language before you could graduate. But you take a fucking semester and that's it, you're done. So long as you can pass that one semester and survive like a Spanish one or a German one or a French one, you're done. Me, in comparison, I had 3 semesters of Spanish, 2 of French, and 2 of German. So I kind of overachieved on that front. But, you know, you're talking to a guy who could have graduated after his junior year of high school, and who had been offered the opportunity to skip a few grade levels before in the past, but no one didn't want me to. I wanted to keep my same friend level, and I think that was the right decision. Not having to make new friends, because I already had so few of those anyway. Yeah, and I just, you know, free teaching. I, you know, get to relax a little bit. I took my studies seriously. Let me rephrase that. I cared about succeeding. Not overly much, but I strive to be above average. There we go. So yeah, let's see here. Junior year, spring semester, I'm in French 1. First day, the head of the department, who was my Spanish 1 teacher, she came in to give a standard welcome to foreign languages, you'll need this for college, you know, sermon. Her name was Senora Deaton, Mrs. Deaton, and she would end up doing this sometimes in our Spanish 1 classes. She was an English teacher. She was well, not English teacher. She was American. She was born in New Hampshire, and so she had a different way of speaking Spanish than my other Spanish teacher, who was from El Salvador, or my other Spanish teacher, who was from Spain. And the other 2 were both born in the United States as well. But anyway, she'd have Deaton sermons. Sometimes we would have, like, exams pushed back from, like, a Friday to next week Monday, because she would spend the entire class talking, and she'd even have these moments where she'd be self-aware, and she'd tell us, like, I know you all are looking at the clock hoping I continue to talk. So yeah, but because she was the head of the foreign language department, she'd always come into, like, the intro classes, and she was there in a German 1, and she chuckled a bit at me being there. But then you go to, like, French 1, you know, my junior year, after I've already had so many fucking semesters of Spanish and French, and she looked at me, and she saw me sitting there, she got to the front of the class, she looked at me dead straight, and she said, this semester just got better. As for my dream job, well, as much as I enjoy, thank you, that was a big fucking tangent there from your question, Dan, as much as I enjoy helping and entertaining people, my dream job is no job. Minimize effort, maximize return. I get that from Mom. And then this will be the final entrant of this video. First, this is from Kevin Nordley. First, if you were forced to erase one of your favorite games from your memory, which one would it be? You would never know about that game after you had erased it from your memory, just to be clear. Second, do you or have you played any instruments? I'd actually go with Dungeon Defenders, the game I'm playing right now. Just a little shy over 2 years, and according to Steam, I've put 467 hours into it. And you know, Steam isn't always the best at telling time, so that's probably a relative number. I don't always play the game at all. Anyway, I think Dungeon Defenders is an excellent game. Here's the Steam recommendation I wrote on December 31st, 19 really, Grimith? December 31st, 2011. More than a cookie-cutter tower defense game, Dungeon Defenders wonderfully combines strategic action and RPG elements to create a highly enjoyable experience. There are a few bugs and kinks in the software, but as a whole, I recommend Dungeon Defenders as a valuable way to spend your time. That remains true today. It's the only DLC-heavy game in which I not only buy the DLC, but own, now after Zodel's contribution, I think I'm like 2 shy of it. Hell, TrendyNet has given away many of these for free, and they're a regular sale at like 75% off, and you can pick them up for next month. You don't need any of them, but they definitely can help contribute to the experience. Such as sort of allowing you more options for, like, defenses. And for attacks, too, because this entire game isn't just about defense. All that being said, Dungeon Defenders is a prime candidate for Git because, A, it's more recent, so it's not that firmly entrenched in my life. B, I've spent at least 80% of that time playing the game by myself, so it's not like I form lasting social bonds I'll cherish forever. And C, the game's excellent, but, not the game's excellent, but not life-changing. The game makes me think, but not about philosophical matters so much as what the fuck do I need to build to kill these goddamn goblin copters. As for instrument, no instrument other than my body. That was a subject which I considered a few times as a kid, but I had crippling shyness and I was afraid of my father, so I didn't want to ask about getting one. Nowadays, I'd have things I'd rather do. Like ending this video before the hour mark. I'll see you in the next one.